talking about England then, first of all, because it was a pretty dismal performance from them against Ukraine, but it was a difficult away fixture because it wasn't in Ukraine, it was in Poland, and it was quite not a hostile environment, but more of a very much a home game for Ukraine with a lot of emotion attached to it. So a point in that situation seems positive. But the way Southgate played the game and also the team that he picked didn't help the cause, really, did it?
No, and I think we anticipated speaking about this. We've looked before the games began, and we looked at the squad that was chosen, and there was a lot of questions about some of the names chosen, and there has been over the last few weeks. But it's frustrating for me because I can understand that it's an away point, but England, if you're going away and you're playing a really good game, but the performance was flat. And the performances from a lot of the players, especially some of the match winners that we've got, were quite flat as well. I think there were probably a couple of players in there that played really well. I thought Kyle Walker had a good performance. I thought Saka had moments as well, and Harry Kane, but it was just a flat performance overall. And considering you had some of these players, like for instance Jordan Henderson, is coming in to prove a point that he belongs in this team, and it just didn't pan out that way. And it's just frustrating because as an England fan, these sort of teams, like, no disrespect to Ukraine, but we should be on a completely another level really to them in terms of the personnel that we've got, the way that we play our football. We've got some of the most exciting attacking players in the world, and the game really was, it's easy to forget really because it's just one of those that you don't really want to reflect on and want to forget in a flash. So
yeah, it was uninspiring, wasn't it, in the extreme, Miles? And I think with like Dave was saying, the talent at England's disposal, and even the players that were out on the pitch, the likes of Jude Bellingham and Harry Kane in particular, moved abroad, playing really well for their clubs, having a good season by all accounts. So it has to come down to the coach really, and Southgate's approach and the way he set them up. That has to be questioned, surely. But was it the case of the tactics and the tactical side of it, or are you looking at more the selection? Because the headlines are Jordan Henderson played. That was a big bone of contention. Harry Maguire started when there were plenty of more informed centre-backs. I would even argue Ben Chilwell shouldn't have started, really. He's not played many minutes. He didn't look particularly fit. So how are you judging this game, Myles? What do you think?
It's so difficult to even dissect because for me personally, I've always been a bit of a Southgate supporter. I've always tried to push and say that I think where he's taken England to has got him a lot of credit in the bank.
Yeah.
This is one of the first times where I've just looked and thought, I don't really understand what he's trying to achieve or what the point in any of this was. Because you're right, it's a really talented England squad and setup that we've got there. Like, we're talking about a team that's got, at the moment, Real Madrid's star player, Bayern Munich's star player, Man United and Arsenal star player, and then Al Ettifaq's star player, which is just bizarre. Yeah. It feels like Southgate is falling into the trap of England of old, of kind of having his favourites, sticking with them no matter what. And we've never seen that go well for England before. And I think the performances against Ukraine showcase that. I mean, let's be honest, Ukraine had 2 attempts on goal, 1 on target, 1 was the goal. And for the goal, Maguire is caught all over the place. Him and Gahey end up stood next to each other with Zinchenko in 10 yards of space inside the box. As the shot comes in, that was completely ridiculous. There's no midfielder tracking that run. Really, that should be Henderson's job. So I don't really know what he's in there for. I wondered if Henderson had received the call up to the squad to kind of fill the Connor Cody role this time. Because you remember how people always talked about, yeah, Connor Cody probably isn't going to get many minutes on the pitch, but he's such a leader and such a character in the dressing room, it's worth having him around. Well, Henderson has got a wealth of experience with England. So if you're keeping him around for that, I think I can understand it and it's justifiable. But if he's starting games in that midfield ahead of players who are in red hot form and can perform far better than he's ever been capable of in that role, it's a joke. Like, there were moments in that game where he barely looked like a footballer. The balls come to him just outside the box and he's skying it into Rose Ed. And that incident where Maguire gets booked, Henderson just air kicks it and he just looked all over the place to me. Even for the goal, he makes this weird offside run before when Harry Kane's looking for his options. He just looked all over the place. So, I don't know. it's disappointing when you've got such a talented setup and Southgate does know them so well to see them kind of flatter to deceive so much, because actually you look at the stats for this game and it looks like England were really in control and it was unlucky that they didn't win, but it was never inspiring, was it? And that squad has the potential to be really inspiring. There's a lot of selection cases that I think need discussing, really, don't they? I think it's probably worth us looking at it one by one.
I don't think you can justify that reason, though, of saying, he's got great experience, he's coming in as a leader. Look, they should have leaders all over the pitch. This isn't an inexperienced England team anymore. You've got players in there who've had 2 or 3 tournaments and they're still, reasonably young. Like the likes of Harry Kane, Kyle Walker, Harry Maguire even. These are players.
But he shouldn't be there
when he comes back in. No, he shouldn't be there either.
Well, that begs the question then. Why is he selecting them then? Is it him retreating into pragmatic, conservative, scared of losing Southgate then? Because he's taken chances in the past and we've gone into tournaments and he's actually made some surprise selections in the past and it's worked out. So we've got reason to trust in Southgate. But did he need to be as pragmatic as he was in this game? And that's the frustrating thing for me.
I don't even know if you can call it pragmatic, because the point of being pragmatic is making decisions that you think are so determined to get you the right result. And I don't think picking Harry Maguire or Jordan Henderson can be considered the logical decision to make. I don't think that tells you that he doesn't want to lose the game, because actually you've got 2 players of quite poor quality right now in your starting 11. Actually, it'd be far more pragmatic to remove them and go, well, no, of course you don't play. So it's a weird loophole that Southgate's found him in. I feel like he's just kind of clinging on to the success he's had with England and thinking, well, this has come so close to working for me. I'm just going to keep doing it for as long as I'm here. And actually, the strength of a good coach is knowing when to change things up. We've seen that happen at club level on countless occasions. And there are players there that should be knocking on the door now. Like, I don't think it's a stretch to say that 2 of the centre midfielders that started for England in this game are 2 of the best centre midfielders in world football right now. Yeah. So there is no reason to then feel like you need to put Jordan Henderson in to protect them. Like, Bellingham has the capability of being very box-to-box. He has defensive attributes just as he has offensive attributes. Rice can sit in front of a defence and play incredibly well in a holding midfield role. So why is James Maddison out on the left wing? Why is he not taking that midfield spot? Why are you not giving Eze a go? Really, what is Southgate learning ahead of the Euros next year by picking Jordan Henderson and Harry Maguire at this point for a game like this? Absolutely. I understand that Ukraine are probably the 3rd favourites to go through in this group, so you kind of have to get a result with them. But you're not getting a better result with Harry Maguire and Jordan Henderson in your side. If all of a sudden he'd said, this is the game where I'm going to try Levi Colwill and Lewis Dunk together, because they played well at Brighton. They're both informed centre-backs. They've both got a lot of potential, and I could use them at the Euros next year. Great. Play him in that game. Why is Harry Maguire having to play that game? This idea that because Mings is injured and he's left-footed and because John Stones is out, you have to stick with Maguire is nonsense. If England had lost this game 3-0, are we realistically in much of a worse position than we are now? Like, just give something a go. Let's get something tested.